Hi, my name is Dr. Ahmad, and I'm extremely thankful for this opportunity that I can share some ideas today. I'd like to touch base on two topics. One is ultrasound, and the second thing is how to run a successful DMS program. So let me briefly explain what ultrasound is. We as humans have a limited capability of processing information. Though we think we have all the abilities, but there's certain limitations. And the same thing goes for sound. Ultrasound is nothing but just a plain sound. But we can't hear it. So that capability is limitation of frequency. There is only a certain range of frequency that a human has the capability of processing, and that comes under the category of sound. Now, anything that goes below that frequency is infrasound, and anything that falls above that category is ultrasound. So it is a sound, and as we all know, sound is something that is an energy. And we have read in our physics books back in the days that energy can neither be created nor can it be destroyed. So it's an energy that's being sent into the human body. Now, the great thing about this energy that's being sent is, till now, as per the research, medical research, it's least biohazard, and it's extremely cost effective, and that's why it being so non-invasive in nature, it is one of the modality of choice and one of the first initial steps that physicians and surgeons take in diagnosing a patient. Ultrasound, or being a sonographer, is like both an art and a science, because crafting an image is the artistic part of it, and at the same time, knowing where to get what is the science part of it. Human body, right? Like, where do you have to put to acquire what image? What anatomical landmarks you got to cover in acquiring those images? That's the science part of it. Therefore, it makes ultrasound extremely kinetic. Now, by profession, I'm a trauma surgeon, and that surgery of any kind is extremely kinetic. So is sonography. The only difference is, in surgery, you cut a human body and go inside so you see it, right? And in sonography, since it's non-invasive, you don't have to go and cut the human body. Instead, you slide the probe, the transducer, which is actually the eye, on the human body at the right anatomical locations to acquire the right images. Having said that, now let's talk about the factors that can make a DMS program a successful program. So the key to that is to be adherent to the compliance. The compliance is something that can make or break a program, and it's DMS program, so it can make or break an institution. Now, the three most vital criterias that we need to fulfill in order to ensure successful deliverance of this program is retention rates, the registry rates, and the placement rates. And all these three go hand in hand. The retention rate are impacted by certain factors. One of the key factors that impacts our retention rate is how well comprehended our first point of contact is. And the first point of contact in any program is the admission representatives. Therefore, it's an ongoing process of training and assessing and developing your admission representative admission team and specifically your admission representative it's extremely vital for them to comprehend what is an ultrasound program, as they're the first point of contact for both the candidate as well as the program. It's like balancing out each other. Is it the right fit for the program? Is the program right fit for the candidate? That was the first thing. Second thing is your registry rate. Right from the very beginning of the program, in fact, before the beginning of the program, these expectations need to be clearly communicated with the candidate of what actually they are getting into. Because since it's an associate degree program, we get candidate students from all walks of life, not necessarily having a medical background. Therefore, their comprehension of what they are getting into and how their life is going to be, specifically in those 2 years while they'll be in the program, is extremely important. One of that thing is registry rate. Now we have registry bodies that holds the certification examination, and one of them is ARDMS, which is the American Registry of Diagnostic Medical Sonography. The good thing about ultrasound credential is it's got two components, and of those two components, one of the component, which is the ultrasound physics, the students get the eligibility right after they are done with that semester. Therefore, it is extremely vital for them to prepare and sit for that exam at a very initial stage. That gives them an in-depth understanding of how much they have to invest in both in terms of time, dedication, in order to acquire those credentials. Not only that, once they have acquired those credentials and they go out there on the clinical sites, which will be their future potential employers, it gives them a very good impression of that candidate, that since he or she has already taken care of that first component, more than likely the chances are that this candidate will complete the second component, which is the specialized component. That could be abdomen, obstetrics, gynecology, vascular, or any of the relevant specialty. Therefore, the most important step is right after their completion of the semester, they need to prepare and sit for that registry and get it out of the way. That also impacts our registry rate, which is one of the criterias and one of the we've been assessed on by the federal government. Now, the third thing is the clinical affiliates, the clinical externship sites where they spend half of their program hours out there in the real world, and they get the opportunity to actually scan in the real world, and at the same time they get the opportunity and the feel of the real world and what they got themselves into, because by this time it's already like 6 months have already passed, or like 8 months have already passed. Not only that, them having that one component taken care of, which is the SPI, ultrasound physics, they stand a better than average chances of getting hired at a place where they were being sent for to complete their externship hours. So their clinical competencies, fulfillment of their clinical competencies in lab, their registry of physics, and then them going to that clinical affiliate to complete their externship hours and showing their skills is extremely important for them getting hired. And this is what has happened in past, like the different programs that I've been in different stage, that if all these requirements are met, there is fairly above average, or in fact good chances of them getting hired in the externship sites that they were being sent to. That impacts our registry placement rates. Now, as per Texas Workforce Commission, we have to maintain numbers when it comes to retention rates. I think I don't remember now, maybe they have raised the bar, but back then it was 80%. When it comes to registry rate, it's again 80%, and when it comes to placement rate, it's again 80%. So, enrolling student in an ultrasound program is not a problem, for obvious reason. It's a separate discussion, I don't want to go into it. Enrollment, getting students for this program is the least of the problem. But maintaining the retention, reducing the dropouts, clearly narrating the expectation, having them pass the registry at a very initial phase in the program, and then preparing them for the clinical affiliates with the lab competency on ground, on campus, and then sending them those clinical affiliates and getting them placed is what makes a successful academic program in general, and specifically diagnostic medical sonography program. But thank you so much for the time and watching me and giving me this opportunity to share this. Have a very blessed day.